Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Community Live Stream. This is the web series where I, Chuck Tomasi, the ServiceNow guy with the cool bow tie, takes you through the ServiceNow community, find some things that we can help others with, and not only provide those answers, but explain how we got to those answers. And hopefully you can use those in your daily job to be more effective, more efficient, and just produce better solutions on the ServiceNow platform. That's the lowdown of it and who I am. I do encourage you to watch this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like something if you find it in here. Forgot to say I'm back. Had a couple of days off for vacation, holiday. Had a wonderful time in Atlanta, Georgia. Saw Wright, one of our developers at a customer, pointed me out. It was very bizarre. I don't normally get this, and I'm very stunned that it happened. I heard a voice from the crowd says, "Is that Chuck Tomasi?" And I mean, there's 65,000 people at this convention at DragonCon in Atlanta, and we had a good chat. Talked shop for a while. Nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about, is getting to know people, share with them. So thank you very much, Wright. It's great catching up with you, and I look forward to seeing you and anyone else who happens to be at DragonCon next year, already starting the plans for that. A lot of fun. So, YouTube, check it out, watch it. Let's see if we got the alert. Not yet. We'll get it. I think that might be it. Yep. As I speak, there it is. There it is on the phone. So you can get alerted like that as well. Add your comments. Give me a shout out to the... Give me the right thing here. Good morning to ServiceNow fan. I love getting the good mornings, good evenings, good afternoons, wherever you are. Good morning to Carolyn. How was vacation? Vacation was wonderful. I already went through that. I just brought up the YouTube screen, as you can tell. So if you've got something that goes beyond, I should also mention that we do this on Twitch. So if you want to watch there, good to see you there as well. And hope to add your comments there. I'm going to close an ad that is just in the way of the chat on Twitch. One disfortunate point about Twitch. But hey, we got people that love Twitch. I love Twitch. It's a great platform. Looking to expand and do other things with it in the future. So, good morning, John. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope your Tuesday is off to a great start. I'm ready to go. I got so much to talk to you. I was just thinking of things over the weekend. I go, oh, we should mention this in the community. So if we have time, we'll get to some of those extra topics that I know you enjoy, and we'll start with the community. So that's Twitch. Where were we? We were on community. If you've got something more than just a hello, how's the weather, how was your vacation, that kind of thing, then certainly put that in the community at community.servicenow.com, where you can get more people. You can search for an answer to see if it's there before you actually start to post. But if you do need to post, you can't find your answer, go ahead and post that in the appropriate sub-forum. A few guidelines about that. There they are. So make sure you use the right forum, one question per post, that sort of thing. Include pictures, very helpful. A lot of times when you're discussing a technical topic, it's tough to get across what is it. Don't forget, what is the underlying requirement? What is the business use case you're trying to do? If you just throw out, how do I get 3 parameters into a function? You may get a technically correct solution, but it will not fit your requirement. It may not, I shouldn't say won't. It may not fit your requirement. So be careful when you do something like that. I'm guilty as anyone. You think you know what you need when in fact the solution may be over there somewhere. So please provide some context for that. Very helpful. And if you've been around the community for a while, consider turning some of those answers into blog content or other content. Very useful for others. Jury duty. Sean was on jury duty. Always fun. Your civic duty. I got called up once so far since we've lived in Phoenix. Haven't had to go. They canceled it. They said, please be sure to call 24 hours in advance. Apparently something must have been settled. So appreciate that. Also invite you to go over to the developer site, developer.servicenow.com. Get yourself a free personal developer instance. You can load and run London, our latest release on that. You can find all of the scripting APIs over there. I will be using a personal developer instance as part of my demonstrations, as part of the problem solving that we go through here. You can find learning plans completely free. Get more involved with developer aspects of the platform and dig in and test some of that stuff in a safe environment away from your organization's dev, test, prod stack. So give that a try. There's also information about meetups over there. Let me get that. There it is. But you can also find more detailed information at the link at the bottom of the screen at meetup.com, not plural. Several of them coming up this week. Looking forward to, I won't be at any of these, but there are a few in EMEA. Boy, that would be a great trip. Just hit tonight in Copenhagen and Stockholm tomorrow, and then Oslo the day after. That would be a heck of a road trip. I'm going to have to see if I can make that happen sometime. I am still working on the October and November meetups. Looking like I might be in Melbourne and Munich. We'll get you more information as that gets confirmed in October. Not sure what November has for us. Like to see if I could swing up and get that Salt Lake City one, but if there's one in late September, it might be a while before I can get up there again. So good morning, Jim. Good to see you again. So check out the developer meetups. Great group of people, and this is your community. This is your chance to interact with other developers. You do with it. It's not ServiceNow saying this is what we're doing in September. This is what we're doing in October. You drive the content. Your group says, I want to go more into code. I want to go more into best practice. I want to see something. I want to test something. I want to discuss. Sometimes these developer meetups just go out to the pub and have a good time, tip back a pint and discuss shop and find out more about the people. Build those relationships. That's very important because you never know in your career where the next lead might come from, where you might be able to help somebody. That networking is so important, and this is a great group to do that with. If you don't have a developer meetup in your area, reach out to us. We can help you get one started. There are even some chapters that are already existing that need leadership. I believe New York, Chicago, and the San Francisco Bay Area is still in need of some leadership. People started a wonderful, vibrant community, and then their role changed, or they they started a new business, and their time just doesn't allow them to run that organization. Well, we need somebody to step in and say, I can find a venue, I can organize a speaker, I can spend a couple of hours a month or a quarter. It's up to you how often you want to have these things, and get those going again, because there are people in that community that are hungry to get back and share those ideas and learn and grow in that respect. Okay, enough about the developer meetup. Let's go to events. I changed this slide up a little bit. Instead of trying to keep track of current events and maybe getting a few of what you were looking for, I thought I would make it a broader topic and just say, if you go to servicenow.com/events.html, these are the types of things you can find. Everything from snug meetings to seminars to webinars to trade shows, conferences, and so much more you can find out there. I am constantly posting news stories and event information on LinkedIn. I should probably make that bottom bar a little more LinkedIn blue or something. I'll work on that. Not sure where the yellow came from. Thought I'd make it stand out. But follow me on LinkedIn, and you will get those updates as well. I've got several that are going out today about artificial intelligence or transforming your enterprise digitally, whether it's HR or security. I'm posting it all out there. A lot of wonderful news. Oh, the tea is hot. I grabbed a couple extra tea bags from the hotel this past weekend just so I can have a variety. I like their stuff. Good. Where are we? We are events, webinars. We've got our Tech Now episode 56. I will get you a link shortly. I believe this is in process. It better be, because I got to have the registration link should be coming shortly, because I got to get them the slides really quick. So look forward to seeing everybody talking about Integration Hub spokes. I started digging in and doing some of my own experimentation. Went through one of our CreatorCon labs and feel a little bit more comfortable about how this whole process is built out. So Craig and I are working together. He's doing most of the content. He'll deliver it. I will simply be doing the introduction. A quick tip. We do offer a quick tip on each one of these webinars now, and show you something quick, often inspired by or directly from the community, that you may not have known before. You go, oh, is that what that's for? Oh, I didn't know that. Just a short little topic to go, this is a place where you can learn something short and quick and sweet, and then we move into the main topic. So look forward to that link showing up in your inbox. You will definitely get that if you are registered at developer.servicenow.com. If not, I'll continue to post here, and you will see that in the next few days. So I'm going to make a mission to get that registration link right away. I know I'll definitely have it as soon as they post the social media card on our site, and then I'll repost that. So, webinar, we have the Customer Success Center. I've told you about this before. Best practices, continue on your journey, learn more about getting through ServiceNow and getting the most out of your investment. So definitely take a look around, encourage your directors, your VPs, your sponsors to look here also. There's good information on all aspects, especially if you're going to be upgrading to London. That happens, I may be biased, but that happens to be my personal favorite. We are also going to be, if I happen to write any script today, any code, the snippets will be placed on GitHub at the link you see there. So you can find those organized by date folder. If there's no folder for the date, it means I didn't write any code. So please go check that out. There are code snippets if you're watching one of the older videos and you go, hey, I'd like to get that. I started this at the end of July, so, the first 8 months, don't have any code snippets saved for that. Apologize for that. You'll have to get those off of the screen. All right. Very good morning, Snehal. Good to see you. Where are we going? We did GitHub. That means that's the last thing we're going to do. It's time to go into the community and get started. So this is our ServiceNow community. Again, community.servicenow.com. I'm going to dig in, provide answers and the rationale behind those answers. The first thing I want to do is start out with a fresh screen because a lot of stuff may have come in while I was talking. My next thing is I go under this question state and get all the unreplied. I like to find some new stuff to sink my teeth into, things that people haven't seen before. Attaching a report to an email notification. You know what? This comes up a lot. Somebody just asked me this internally last week, and I have not seen this, and it is, I'm mixed on this. I would like to know how to do that, so I'm going to follow this subscription. There's a reference in the docs to attaching reports to email notifications. Now, you can send out a report that has an email notification attached. The syntax is report XY. I have not looked at this, but this comes up, hey, how do I attach this particular file? Maybe I want to take a related list, take all those records, generate a file, and attach it to an email. Now, some email systems obviously have a limit on the attachment size, 5 meg, 10 meg, whatever it happens to be. So if your attachment from ServiceNow is too big, your thing will get rejected. Other people have a principle that, like, if there's an attachment, I'm not opening it. Just tell me what I need to know. They're of a different mindset than me personally, but I get it. A lot of times people attach something like, here are all the details you need to know. Well, I'm on a CC line, so I don't need all the details. I don't open that attachment. So what was the value of putting it there? Is there any of your videos on best practices? Snehal, yes, I try to sprinkle in the best practices everywhere I can. You'll often hear me talk about business rule best practices, Glide Ajax best practices. They are all over the place, but there is no one central video that has the best practices. You can go to developer.servicenow.com and the best practices that are documented are there. So I encourage you to look through the technical, those are technical best practices, not best practices for, say, implementing a CMDB or upgrading. Those are going to be in separate content places. But the technical best practices, how should I do a form layout optimally? What's the best way to do a business rule? How should I do a script include? Where should I do this? That's all going to be on the community developer.servicenow.com. Hello, is there a better way to override parents table field specific ACLs? Jendi, perfect question for the community. Those are the kinds of questions that if I answered them here, you would get the answer, and 100, 200 people might also hear it and see it and go, that was an interesting reference. But there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in the community that could benefit from this, and they can also, you'll get more than just me trying to answer this. So please post that in the community. it will also be searchable by others who have a similar question later. So I encourage you, the more in-depth, complex questions, I'm not going to try and answer those live, unless it's a real quick thing like, what does active do on a business rule? Or what does advanced do? I could show you that real easily. Excuse me. Pardon me. That was no fun. So I encourage you to post your question on the community, and you'll get better answers to that. So there's a reference to docs attaching report to email notifications. Docs.ServiceNow.com, Kingston, attaching docs to a notification. Haha. Let's see what their challenge is, though. The syntax is $ curly brace report : X : Y. I'd assume this needs to go in an email script, but the script editor doesn't like that syntax. I tried putting in the message HTML, the actual notification, but in that case, the email fails to send, and there are very meaty error message appears in the logs. For input string, report ID, number format exception. For input string, report ID, Does anyone have any idea on this? Looks like we got a reply already while I was talking. That looks like it would go in the HTML section. Are you putting one of these report ID, gauge ID, dashboard ID? Tickle in the throat. Long weekend. Replacing Y with the report society. X for the... Let's find out how this actually works. I've never looked into this, but it looks like we've made an enhancement that makes it easy. Whoa, font too big, formatting goes crazy. You can attach documents and reports to email notifications by scripting or linking the sysid of the record. You can include all attachments from a source record with the notification. For example, if an incident update generates a notification, you can include all attachments from the incident record with the notification. That's handy. I wouldn't recommend this if you have 15 attachments. To include all attachments from the source record, select the checkbox for Include Attachments field. Easy. Wow. Note that email messages including attachments cannot exceed the maximum email size. The size includes MIME encoding, which will increase the total size by approximately 37%. Good to know. Wow, here's a feature I did not know when this got in. So this is good information. I don't want to read the entire document to you, but you can also do a link. This is the way I recommend. Instead of attaching an attachment, link to the attachment and do this kind of thing. Notice that the href that they're putting in this template print in the mail script is not using the full URL. It doesn't say https://mydevinstance.service-now.com, because then you wouldn't, if you developed it on your dev instance and you referenced your dev instance, when you get it to test or prod, you would still be referencing links on the dev instance. So some people would get around this by saying, well, we'll use GS property and get the name of the instance and put that in. You don't have to do this anymore. The mail system is now smart enough. I think this was Eureka or Fuji. It was a while ago, about 3-4 years ago, that we put in the ability to recognize relative links and turn those into full links on that instance. So don't bother with constructing full URLs anymore in email. Doesn't need to be. Attaching reports using sysid. So X is the type of report. Report ID, gauge ID, dashboard ID, or chart ID. What are those? Where do those IDs come from? Why is the sysid, the report, gauge, dashboard, or chart to be attached? So, it's just a word. Report ID : this report. Sort of a director. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So, learned something new today. Didn't know that feature was out there. Hopefully you found that useful as well. Are they trying to do a report? There's a reference to attaching reports to email notification. Okay. For input string report ID, blah, 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 blah. Does anyone have any thoughts on this? Can you share what the actual code is? Can you share? Yeah. Brian is right. It goes, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for you. Goes in the message HTML section. Fingers aren't working. I had a vacation. Can you share your latest attempt? Example. Database report. Make sure I get that right per the documents. Report ID, sys ID of report. Where do you get the report? Get the report from going to, this is where the personal developer instance comes in handy. Reports, go under administration, all. Go to reports, administration, all, locate the name of the report, open it, and use the form menu to copy the society. Let's bold that just for readability's sake. Been doing too many training guides. There we go. The bell still works. Bell didn't go on vacation. Who's next? A couple things in the inbox. I'll take a look at those in just a moment. I'll back that off. It's a little too big. The formatting goes crazy when I do that. A few weeks ago, I did upgrade from doing this in 720p to 1080p. So hopefully the resolution is sharper on the screen that you can read these a little bit better. List V3 plugin. Oh, that's in a Snug group. Interesting. I don't recall ever subscribing to the Missouri Snug group, but let's find out what question they have. Anyone using List V3 plugin makes lists look more like email with the preview on the right-hand side. Appears you can't uninstall it, London, but can continue using it if you already have it installed. You can't install it in London. That's correct. Looks awesome, but concerns going away. I appreciate your thoughts. I can give you I have to join the, I can't reply unless I'm part of this Snug. Kind of posted in a crazy place, but let's go to the Missouri Snug group. And I can ask to join. Joining is that easy. If you want to join, it's requested. So maybe I can't just simply post. Let's find out. Somebody have to approve that? Do I have a reply button yet? I do have a reply button now. Okay. One moment. It's all right. I had to clear my throat. A little bit raspy this morning. List V3 came out in Geneva, I believe. It has several wonderful features. You can keep using it if you activated it pre-London. New instances on London or later cannot turn it on. It is not going away anytime soon. There are currently several known PRBs. Those are problem records, if you haven't heard that term before. That's just the prefix that problem records get, is PRB, kind of like incidents is INC. But why we don't call them problem records, I guess PRB is only 3 syllables, so it's easier to say. Oh, my nose is really itchy today. Something in the air must be activating my allergies. There are several known PRBs out that the development team has agreed not to address due to the I'm not pleased with this decision, but I understand it from a strategic standpoint. Due to the strategy of the UI going forward. If somewhere performance. I did not see any performance, but I don't handle the masses of data that many customers do. Some were usability, and so on. No further development is being made on list v3. I suspect, I don't have evidence to this, but I suspect that the development resources are going more into agent workspace to give that next generation of how agents actually work. Is there going to be a list v4? Could be. I don't know yet. All right. Forgot to turn the AC down. It's getting a bit warm in here. Again, if you are using it and happy with it, continue doing so. Ding. There we are. Good morning, Raghu. Good morning, Rajendra. Can we use rejects in Service Portal? Not sure what that means. Oh, React.js. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that quite right. Can we use React.js in Service Portal? I don't know. Theoretically, you might be able to bring in a library on a widget, but I don't know if you could do the entire portal in React. There is something new coming up. I believe it's in Madrid. Don't quote me on this. Traditionally, we've tied our content management, service portal, end user portal, whatever you want to call it, we've tied it to a technology. With CMS, that was Jelly. With Service Portal, it's AngularJS 1.5. And almost immediately after we released Service Portal, people were saying, does it support Angular 2? Does it support Angular 4, 6, 8? And we've got this always trying to catch up. Now, there is a new model coming out that abstracts that one layer. And I don't have all the full details on that. I should be learning more over the next few weeks of what our direction is on that. But it will allow you to stay current with that technology without relying on us to keep it accurate. So that's a good thing. Whether it's React or because it may be React is the cool thing in 2018, 2019, but in 2020 it becomes something else. And now we're trying to catch up and retool everything. And the customer was saying, well, I just made this big investment in getting all of my developers familiar with AngularJS, and now you're changing again? It's a no scenario. So we're trying to stay on top of that and give you the ability to use industry standard libraries, industry standard languages to create some amazing content and still plug it into ServiceNow. How that's happening, I don't know. Again, I don't have details on that. It's still very early. It's not early in the development cycle. I'm sure they're well underway on this. Next. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Unreplied. Encryption context does not work as expected. So an encryption context is usually used on an encrypted field. This is not edge encryption. This is field level encryption. Let's find out what they're doing. And in order to read the data out of that encrypted field, you need to have access to the context. This is usually done by roles. I am viewing an encrypted field as an ITIL user, but I am able to see the encrypted field RS1 and RS2 data. Okay, RS1, DFDA, here's the field encryption, encrypted field configurations, use single encryption context. RS1 is multiple encryption context. And then the context can either be single or multiple. So if I encrypted my name field, let's say, for example, with a single encryption context, it means only one context can be used to access that, which means typically only one role will be able to use to read that field. ITIL or admin or security or whatever you decide to use for the role to read that field. Multiple contexts means you can use multiple encryption contexts. So you can assign multiple groups, multiple users, multiple roles, that kind of thing, to gain access to that. Makes it a little more configurable. Either way is fine. Context is only tagged with admin role and not ITIL. I wish I had a full screenshot here to see what was up there. Maybe they're impersonating an ITIL role. I don't know. I am going to keep an eye on that. It's had 21 views. Let's subscribe to that. See what we get there. I did say subscribe, right? Why is my subscribe not subscribing? Let's reload that page. Something fishy about that. Maybe it's just a UI thing. There we go. So keep tabs on that conversation. Again, good learning opportunities in the community. If you come across something that you don't understand, certainly subscribe to it. Stay with that conversation. You can observe. You can lurk, as it were. Nothing wrong with community lurkers. Another quick refresh. About to switch gears here, going from the unreplied stuff to something that is replied. Cross-scope issues in HR management module. Assign value to SN preference picker. Password reset error. Set option for this initial notification. Always expand the order guide option. ServiceNow High Portal multi-select feature. This sounds interesting. May I know anyone who has an idea about the following UI implementation on ServiceNow? The screen is captured from High Portal, and I'm thinking whether there is a way to implement it in ServiceNow. Select affected instances. That looks like it's done in Service Portal. And my guess is it's a custom widget. That looks like it was done in Service Portal. So my guess is that it is a custom widget. Let's find out. I'm going to log into High real quick. I think that's on the instances, but I don't know exactly what page or form that was on. So let me just log in there. Almost time to change that password. Sure, we'll update that one. And my two-factor code is not one of those. Gotta love two-factor authentication. Use two-factor authentication wherever it's available. Why I have to keep assigning my time zone every 6 months, I don't know. Feels like every 6 months. Now, if I have my instances, I have several out here. So where does it say complete or select? Would that be under request to upgrade? I don't know. Let's find out. I'll be able to request an upgrade to London soon. Anyway, let's go back and ask. Can you copy the URL here so we can track down where the widget is used, and then I can ask the High developers how it was built and if they are willing to share. There we are. It's not an answer, but it moves us a little closer. Information is a wonderful thing. All right, let me go into the inbox, finish up some of these conversations that have been going along. Someone marked the blog helpful or managed glide lists. If you're not familiar with this one, this is a blog article that I wrote a while ago. I mentioned it here a couple times before. Blog article came from a lab that was done at Knowledge 11. So would it be over 7 years ago? And you can take a watch list, very old screenshot of the watch list. It is a number of people. You can put people in there, but all you get is the display value. All that's stored is the sys-ID. It's a comma-separated list of sys-IDs. This is one example use case of how you can use this. It's meant to manage list fields, watch list being probably one of the most popular list fields around. Might have to sneeze again. Oh, excuse me. So, I wrote some methods based on that lab exercise that is very easy to use. You instantiate the list object using new list util. The code is all available right here. You can copy and paste it. You pass it a list field name. It goes and creates an internal array. If it can split and get something, it creates an array of objects. And then all these functions in here work on that array until you want to get it back out, in which case you print the array. So, very choppy and bad sound. I'm getting spooling issues on this end, so I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Let me try and refresh this page. Still out of date. Yeah, it's blurry. YouTube is blurry. Twitch seems to be fine this morning. I'm not sure what's up with that. There we go. YouTube just cleared up. It's still pretty far behind, though. I think YouTube has issues streaming. I will get this posted to the community right after this, so you'll be able to watch it. Just look for video : community live stream with today's date, and you'll see it there. So if you want to watch again, then it will also be rendered and available on YouTube in the community live stream playlist of the ServiceNow community account. All right. So somebody marked it as helpful. Glad it could be of help. To mark that as helpful. Thank you, Brian. And third and most wonderful of the inbox, asked for them to provide some details, and it got marked as helpful. All right. Who marked this helpful? Andre. Andre had asked me earlier. I was waiting to see what the answer on this was. It says, is there documentation on the global object? I would like to read more, but cannot find anything. Now, there is no global object that I'm aware of. You designate things as global dot script include, for example. That's just a way of referencing a script include, in this case, from another application scope. Global is the absence of all scope. Incident, problem, change, workflow, all of these things were developed before scoped apps came along in Fuji. So we have you reference them because you could have two script includes with the same name, for example, REST util or workflow. I could write a scoped app and create a script include called workflow. There's already one in global. So now I have to designate, is it my workflow or is it the global workflow? If it's my workflow, then I do, yeah, YouTube stream is having a really hard time this morning. I don't know what's going on. Apologize. So we will, oh, well, there's our problem. Looks like it's not streaming anymore. Look over at the stream, I've got a big red X on this thing where I'm trying to broadcast. I'm going to continue to broadcast. You know what, I'll cut this a little short just so we can cut the pain and suffering